So earlier this week, April Fool's Day, I uploaded a video about MLB The Show. As you guys know, my roots on this channel are from baseball video games, specifically MLB The Show. So I figured, let's tie in my MLB The Show video game roots back to the channel today, do a little bit of a tier list. You guys know I love to rank things. You guys know I love the tier list. We brought it to YouTube. We got that trend started in the sports community. Tier lists are fun. Rankings are fun. It gets conversation going. It gets you guys going in the comment section. You know I love to see what you guys have to say. So today, we combine the two. We're doing a baseball video game tier list. Gonna rank all the baseball video games. Shout out to my boy Healy6. He created this tier list I think almost like a year ago. He did a video on his channel. If you want to check it out, links in description. Go check it out after you watch mine. But I'm gonna go through all the video games that he put in this list. It doesn't have the newest ones that came out, so MLB The Show 20 or RBI 20. Not gonna talk about those just yet. We'll talk about some of the older games today. As always, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. You're excited for tier lists? Leave a like. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new and you enjoy the content. Even though there's no baseball, we're always gonna be talking it over here, so make sure you click that sub. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Let me know what you agree with or disagree with on my rankings for the tiers of baseball video games. Was there any game that I didn't do justice? And remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in description. Always talking baseball over there. Let's get it started off here. This is what, like the original Ken Griffey Jr. game for the Super Nintendo. So obviously it has a lot of history. This is like the OG baseball video game. I grew up with Nintendo 64 being my first console. So Super Nintendo was only ever played kind of like in nostalgia, or I don't even want to say as a joke, but just like, oh, play the Super Nintendo. It's got some history. But this game for me, I'll give it C. It's revolutionary for what it did for like baseball video games, but it's just not a very good game. It doesn't hold up now. This isn't something that I ever want to play again, honestly, except for maybe like nostalgia purposes. But even then, what, like 10-15 minutes? Just not interested in this game. Okay, next up here we got MLB 2K10. Now, there's a great story with this game. I was addicted to whatever their Road to the Show mode was called. I don't even know. It's probably just my player. And then one day my friend came over and he stole this game from me. So I was like, I gotta text him. Where'd he put my game? Texted him, where the f did you put my MLB 2K10? Ended up sending it to my mom. She wasn't happy. But yeah, this was a great game for me. Probably goes in the A tier. I don't know if that's crazy. That might be me just being a little biased because I love this game and I played it so much, but I'd put it in the A tier. It was a great game. 2K11. Now, I feel like this is kind of when the $1 million challenge started. Am I right? Am I wrong? 2K11, though, I don't remember liking as much, but I think I was a little bit off the baseball video games. One, because I lost my 2K10. My friend stole it from me. Two, I just don't remember this game being that great. I'm going to put it in the B tier. It was just kind of okay for me. It was definitely above average. Only baseball game I could really play as an Xbox user. And here's where we start to see the drop off on the 2K games. So then you got 2K12. 2K12, I think, is probably going to still find its way into B tier. Not a fan of it. The 2K games at this point were starting to go downhill, so this is really where, like, I wasn't getting really into these games anymore as much. And then the 2K13 game with David Price on the cover was probably their worst iteration of the game. I wasn't a fan of it. I know some people will like it. For me, not a fan. Still, though, wasn't that bad. I'll put it in C tier right next to the Ken Griffey Jr. game. Just, disappointing. Now, 2K and 2K7. These games are very nostalgic. Also, is 2K9 not on here? But, yeah, 2K8, 2K7, nostalgic. I gotta think about them from like just a straight up like, were these actually good game standpoints? No. I would say 2K8 was probably better, so I'll put that in C tier. I'm honestly gonna put 2K7 in D tier. Just like these two games right here, there was a big break in the games. Like they had kind of their like building up point, and then they got to when they were at their best. I think 2K10 was at its best. I think these are probably their low points here. Okay, All-Star Baseball 2003. Now, I remember playing this game back in the day on the PlayStation 2. Horrible. Bad. The mechanics for this game are insane from what I remember. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The throwing, the hitting, everything was super, super hard. This game for me is gonna go in F tier. I just have no good memories of this game. I remember getting it from Blockbuster and being like, this was a waste of a week's worth of money to rent this game because it's horrible. So bad. One of the worst baseball video games I remember playing. I'm sure some of you guys have different memories, but for me, this was trash. Backyard Baseball 2001. Oh, we drop it in an S tier. This game is the best backyard baseball game that was ever made, without a doubt. It's better than the original. It's better than any of the ones that came out after it. This is the cream of the crop when you're talking about backyard baseball. This is the one. I was 6 years old, 5 years old when this came out, born in 96. Yeah, I don't know how to do my math, but I remember playing this game like nonstop as a kid. This was my video game to go to. I remember hopping on early in the morning, going on my parents' computer, playing Backyard Baseball 2001. We got Mike Piazza, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, all the GOATs at the time in one game. It was unbelievable. This is like, I feel like how I probably learned how to count and do math a little bit. I'm sure it helped me out there. Combine that with baseball and just being a very simple game that I still like to play to this day. It's S tier. In might be one of my favorite games of all time. Backyard Baseball 2003. I would love to drag it in S tier, but S tier is a very special place. That is elite video games. It's gonna go in A for me. Another great Backyard Baseball game. None of them are bad. Well, I shouldn't say that. The new ones are bad. This was, I think, the last one before they went to the 3D modeling, so it was still very good. You got some updated players. It was cool because it was an updated version. Probably considered a better version, but for me, nostalgia-wise, it goes in A because S 2001, that's the GOAT. And then we got Backyard Baseball. I think this is what, 2004, 2005? I can't read it, but that one's gonna go in B tier for me. This is where we started to get the 3D modeling. This is where the game probably got better from like a complexity standpoint, but what made Backyard Baseball great was it was simple, it worked well. You got this new game, the character models look weird, they look very uncomfortable to me. Just not a great game. Again, probably nostalgia is what's putting it in B. Ah, man. Honestly, I'm gonna put it in C. I'm changing it up. It's going to C for me. And then you got like the new Backyard Baseball series, which is horrible. F. This is a garbage game. It looks terrible. I don't even think they have like a lot of the original characters in there. They don't sound the same. They changed up their voice. They changed up their look. Terrible decision by whoever took over Humongous Entertainment Backyard Sports. Shout out to Humongous Entertainment. They were the best. As soon as they got sold to this new company, they ruined it. All right, so we got the Bigs and the Bigs 2 here. I'll start off with the Bigs 1 first. I'm gonna put the Bigs 1 in B tier. Bigs 1 was fun. It was a different kind of game. It basically took like Slugfest and made it almost like a more kid-friendly version. There wasn't as much violence, but the Bigs was fun. I remember playing it on the Wii specifically, where you had to play at the plate and you had the nunchucks and you were shaking them back and forth. Didn't play it much after probably like the first couple of months because there just wasn't a lot in the game. I mean, these games didn't really have like new content coming into it. You bought the game, that's what it was. The gimmick kind of ran out a little bit, but it was fun. I put it in B. I think the Bigs 2 is probably an A tier game. This is when it was on the next gen consoles that I remember. I remember playing on an Xbox 360. It was a really smooth game. There was a lot more to do in it. They had like a great, I don't want to call it Road to the Show, whatever they called it, like legend mode. I think maybe Be a Legend it was called. They also had like a season mode that you could do that was a lot more in depth. It was a just much more complete game, much better version of Bigs 1. Huge fan of it. A. Okay, High Heat Baseball. This is another one that I never purchased, but I remember renting from Blockbuster, and High Heat Baseball is going to probably go in that D tier for me as well. Same thing with like just like these games back then. There are some great ones from back in the day, don't get me wrong. This one again had weird mechanics, wasn't a fan of it. High Heat Baseball, never one of the games that I bought because I was just like, hey, it's just isn't very good. Okay, so for the time period and the way the game played, the Ken Griffey Jr. game on Nintendo 64 is S tier. This game is elite for the Nintendo 64, for the graphics, for the way it played. It was like the first, I want to say, 3D baseball game. It's sort of similar hitting to how MLB The Show is now. You had a zone indicator. You had to put it where the ball was. There was a cool little square thing that told you where the pitch was going. I remember putting in endless hours into this game as a child on Nintendo 64, doing a lot of seasons. I'm sure it's not great now. I'm sure it looks horrible, but for that time, it was incredible. S tier. Super Mario Baseball and Super Mario Sluggers, the Mario series baseball games. These are fantastic. I'd probably put Super Mario Sluggers into that A tier because it was on the Wii. The Wii just like wasn't that great. The Wii was okay. It was a cool gimmick, but we got over it. We got over it quickly, and it just didn't feel like the game was as good as it was on the GameCube under Super Mario Baseball, or Superstar Baseball, I think it was called, but you just called it Mario Baseball. That game's S tier. You bring the Mario characters into any sport, it's always going to be awesome. I'm a huge Mario fan to begin with. Super Mario 64 is my favorite game of all time. Baseball, they finally gave it to me. I get to use Mario and Bowser in baseball. That combination's elite. S tier. All right, now we're getting into the MLB The Show block. Now, MLB The Show 19's on here twice, so we'll only put it on there once, but MLB The Show 19, it was not a great game. I could see why people would like it, but there was definitely a lot of issues. I'm gonna put MLB The Show 19 in B tier. I wasn't a fan of the game, but I know people liked it. I mean, for me, it probably goes in D or F. I personally just didn't like the game at all, but I know that was a pretty good game. Honestly, I'm gonna put it in C. I'm gonna put it in C. MLB The Show 19 is a C tier. MLB The Show 06 with David Ortiz on the cover. I remember playing this with the PSP. This game was fantastic, and honestly, this will probably cover all the MLB The Show games from like 06 to like, I want to say even 2010, because not every single MLB The Show is on here, but I'll just cover them all together. These were awesome. These were really good games for the time. I'm gonna put them in A tier. I think they were really, really good. They had a good franchise mode. I don't think it was called Road to the Show then. It might have honestly been, but you had a good little My Player mode, the season mode, the franchise. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I remember playing this game a lot. Really good game. Like, I was even buying these on PlayStation 2 when I had Xbox 360 because I needed a baseball game, and that's the only reason I played my PS2 was for these old MLB The Shows. MLB The Show 15. Now, this was the first game that I came back to uploading MLB The Show on YouTube. And, yeah. I really liked it. It was a very simple game. It was trash compared to what it is now. Based on how I remember the game, I enjoyed it. I made YouTube videos. It got me back into baseball on YouTube, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. But again, this is just me because I'm remembering it as good times. I don't remember the exact gameplay mechanics. Obviously, they're not as good as it was now. 16 was a fun game. I'm probably gonna put 16 in B tier as well. I rant about every single MLB The Show game because at some point I do get tired of them and there's something that needs to be fixed. But I think it was better than 19. Similar scenario with 15 and 16. Just I have good memories with it. MLB The Show 17. 17, another game that I uploaded on the channel. I actually probably like this game close to the most out of any of the MLB The Shows right now. I'll put this in A tier. I might regret this. I think I might be thinking again of only the good days and not the bad days, but it's because of what comes next as to why it's an A tier, because MLB The Show 18, D tier. MLB The Show 18 was horrendous. Immortals ruined the game. The whole market was screwed up. The whole programs, everything. There was no content. The Show 17, you got so much content. The Show 18, you got nothing. There was nothing for such a long time. They had the stupid jerseys and hat cards in the game that you couldn't even use on your team. That's literally what made me stop uploading the game on this channel. That's why I made the switch to real baseball, was because MLB The Show 18. And then we already did the Show 19. So let's move on to MLB 2005, which for those of you, I don't necessarily know if you remember, but MLB 2005, this is before it was the Show, but I think it was technically still the same company. Eric Chavez on the cover. Dude's a legend. Loved this game as a kid. I'll put it in B tier. Really fun baseball game. I think it was probably the best baseball game out there at the time, better than the 2K game, so that's why I went with it. I just remember the animations being so smooth for the time, so I like this one, B tier. MLB 2K9. Yes, MLB 2K9. See, I knew that they forgot to put it on here. Healy didn't forget. It was just further down the line. 2K9 is also going to be B tier. I feel like 2K9's when like they got the new pitching in there, maybe with like the analog stick, that was pretty cool. I think it had its bugs, it had its issues, but overall for a baseball video game, it's going to go in B tier. It's pretty solid. MVP Baseball, you know where that's going. Vroom, right up to S tier. That is an elite game. Even MVP Baseball 2004 would be in the S tier. This is the best baseball video game that's possibly ever been made outside of backyard baseball. And again, if you're talking from a technical standpoint, gameplay standpoint, MVP Baseball is the most elevated game, the best game. I still play it to this day. I literally bought the GameCube version of it so I can throw it on my Wii when I'm back in my apartment and play it with my roommates. This is literally what everybody talks about as the best baseball video game of all time, and there's good reason. It is the best baseball video game of all time. Okay, so Out of the Park. Out of the Park is not for me. So for me personally, Out of the Park C tier, but I can appreciate how in-depth and how good this game is, which is why it goes in A tier. I don't have interest in being that in-depth in the game, which would probably surprise you. There's just too much going on there. It's overwhelming for me. I don't have the patience to sit down and grind out a season like you do on that game. It's just not something I'm interested in. I play video games for fun. This isn't that fun. I love rebuilding teams. I love doing that kind of stuff, but it's too in-depth for me, so that's why I don't play. But it is a fantastic game. It is easily the most realistic baseball game out there. You don't actually get to play. It's a lot of team building, which again, I need to be playing, but it's amazing. A tier. You should buy this game if you haven't. All right, RBI Baseball. Let's drag them all into F tier because these are games for babies. I'm sorry if you're on Xbox and that's what you have to play right now. I wouldn't spend any money to play it. I honestly don't know if you could pay me to play. I'm sorry, Major League Baseball, because those are the ones that you make, but they're horrible. Thank goodness MLB The Show is going multi-platform next year, because I feel bad for those Xbox people who have been having to play this for their baseball fix. Not a good game. Literally not even worth the money. Slugfest. Oh, Slugfest is going in S tier. Yeah, MLB Slugfest is amazing. Revolutionary for like sports video games. I mean, you got to hit batters and pitchers. Your guys lit on fire. There was punches and kicks being thrown. It was a violent baseball video game, and it was amazing. Give me a remastered version of MLB Slugfest, and I will purchase it right now. And the reason being, it's a fantastic game. It is fun no matter what age you are, what time you're playing it. You're not playing it for realism. You're playing it because of the audacity and how crazy it is. You can literally light players on fire because they're starting to get hits in the game and they run super fast and throw super hard. That's what you want. You want fun video games. That game was fun. Triple Play Baseball. I remember Triple Play Baseball. It was EA's MVP before MVP Baseball came out. I'm gonna put Triple Play Baseball in C tier. Obviously, MVP Baseball is way better, but Triple Play was interesting. It was cool. EA Sports at the time was the king of sports video games, and it kind of is still. There's a little period where 2K took over. This wasn't my favorite EA game, definitely not my favorite baseball game, but I do remember playing it and having some good memories with it. But overall, I know that it wasn't my favorite and wasn't my top choice. And then last but not least, we got Wii Sports. I know Wii Sports gang, if you're still watching this, you're probably gonna freak out here, but Wii Sports is trash. Wii Sports is C. It was cool because you got to swing a bat and you got to throw a pitch, but after about 2 games, you're like, oh, this is terribly boring. Wii Sports was cool for a rainy day when you got the Wii at first and to play with your parents. It was a cool way. It was a fun game, but from a sheer baseball video game standpoint, this is probably one of the least interesting games that there has ever been. So this is my tier list on baseball video games. I'd love to know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Am I crazy with some of these picks? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. Click that sub button, join the team. Remember to follow me, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Link in description, and I'm going to wrap up the video there. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video as well as this is my most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.